morning, distinguished guests, members of SEMS Group of Institutions, faculty members, and students. Today we gather with profound respect and fond remembrance to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor through the commemorative annual lecture series. Before we embark on this program, let us seek the blessings of the Almighty. I invite Ms. Ankita and Ms. Shweta, students of PGDM Batch 31, for the prayer. I now request Dr. Thevannoor, Group Director and Registrar, SEMS Group of Institutions, for the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Most respected our chairman, Dr. G.T. Nair sir, chief guest of the day, Shri Shibu Baby John, former Minister of Labour, Government of Kerala, Vice Chairman, Professor Pradeep Thevannoor, other directors of the group, Dr. Philomena P. George, Dr. Indu Nayak, Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, principals of the SEMS Group of Education Institutions, Professor Anil Ravindranath, Dr. Anita G. Pillai, heads of departments, students, participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. And a very, very warm welcome to this lecture series, which we started 5 years ago. If we go by the purpose of the lecture, we have always taken whatever is contemporary, whatever is happening, and every time we are seeing the whole lecture series evolving. It is going a very long way, reaching more number of people, and the impact is also seen. This is one of the lecture series where all sister institutions under the aegis of SEMS Group comes together. And today is also a very important day for SEMS. It's our chairman's birthday. So first of all, I feel we should honor that a person like him, who ventured into the arena of education long back, and who has been in the forefront of education not only in Kerala but also in India, is our chairman. We should be really proud of. And on behalf of all of you, let me take this opportunity to proudly welcome him as well as wish him a very, very happy birthday. Now to our chief guest. Shri Shibu Baby John is not a stranger to us. A known politician, an avid traveler, animal lover, and a sports buff is what I got from the internet. So absolutely a right person to talk on the theme innovation and entrepreneurship. So a very, very warm welcome to you. A warm welcome to our Vice Chairman, Professor Pradeep P. Thevannoor, and also to all the dignitaries of the dais, especially our special invitees and students from our sister institutions. This is one of the opportunities that we get to meet each other. Students from SEMS School of Architecture, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this wonderful lecture series. We have other participants like our faculty members, our students of PGDM. I take, on behalf of everybody assembled here, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you and also my panelists, my colleagues who are like our own principal, Dr. G. Shashikumar sir, Dr. Indu Nair, Group Director, Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, Group Director. A warm welcome to each and every one of you to this memorable lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm delighted to invite Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, Group Director, SEMS Group of Institutions, for the introduction of Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture Series. Sir, please.
Respected Chairman Sir Dr. G.B. Nair sir, our distinguished guest today, Shri Shibu Baby John, Vice Chairman Professor Pradeep P. Thevannoor, Group Director and Registrar Dr. Radha Thevannoor, Group Director Dr. Indu Nair, Assistant Principal Dr. G. Shashikumar, distinguished guests, friends, colleagues, my dear students, a very good morning. We are here today for the 4th annual commemorative lecture in commemoration of Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor. Commemoration is to connect the past with the present and the future. Dr. Pradeep was the Vice Chairman of SEMS Group of Educational Institutions. He was a great visionary, a source of inspiration for all of us at SEMS Group. A man of fertile imagination and untiring energy, Dr. Pradeep had a clear vision to take the SEMS Group to the greater heights in quality and excellence. He was instrumental in establishing the first and internationally recognized water institute in the private sector in the country, the SEMS Water Institute, and was the driving force behind the prestigious Indo-German Water Partnership. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor has left a mark as an outstanding visionary in the field of higher education in our state. Now I invite you to view a brief video on his journey, where he has given more than himself to the purpose, the institution, family, and the society in total.
Educationalist, entrepreneur, leader, and a visionary. He spent his childhood in Kochi and his travel for learning took him places from Kochi to the United States. An alumni of Kerala University and Oklahoma City University, he had joined SCM's group of institutions in the early stages of its growth as its vice chairman and guided the destiny of the group, working closely with his mentor, father, Dr. G.P.C. Nayak. He had varied intense interests in engineering, biotechnology, and management. He looked at the people and environment around him to devise the learning programs and was keen on developing research to fill the intellectual gap in problems in the society he lived. As a result, the group came out as pioneers in many socio-centric research and development, which led to the development of NERA, biofuel, and establishment of the Water Institute. A person who has always strived for quality and excellence in life. A person who believed in getting what he wanted through hardcore professionalism. A man of dreams who accomplished his dreams, who believed that nothing happens unless first dreamed. He had elaborate personal network with the corporate, socio-political, and diplomatic titans and establishments nationally and internationally. This facilitated SCMS becoming the institution with the largest number of academic and research tie-up with German universities and industry among Indian academy. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor, educationalist, entrepreneur, leader, a visionary.
Dr. Pradeep left us on November 17, 2014 for heavenly abode. We have since last 9 years instituted an international level innovation award, Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Innovation Awards, to identify and recognize innovative ideas among college and high school students, wherein more than 3,000 students competed from all over the country and abroad annually. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture Series had been launched in the year of 2019. The first of the series of the annual lectures was delivered by the then Honorable Governor of Kerala, Honorable Mr. Justice Sadashivam, on the 12th of January 2019 on Youth, the Architects of the Future. And the second edition of the lecture series was delivered by Honorable Judge of High Court of Kerala, Mr. Justice Devan Ramachandran, on the rule of law. The third in the series was delivered by Dr. Subramaniam Swamy on the prospects of India being a developed economy on the 23rd January 2023. The fourth, Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture in the memory of our beloved Dr. Pradeep is being delivered today by Shri Shibu Baby John on innovation and entrepreneurship. Let's approach this commemorative lecture with a sense of gratitude, curiosity, and commitment to carry forward the lessons learned. May the wisdom shared today inspire us to strive for excellence, embrace diversity, and contribute to the ongoing narrative of progress and growth. We hope these lectures will stimulate debate and discussions on various socially relevant themes for an effective country building. Wish you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To grace this occasion, we have former Minister of Labour, Kerala State, Shri Shibu Baby John. I now invite Dr. G. Shashikumar, Principal, SCMS School of Technology and Management, to introduce the chief guest. Sir, please.
Dr. GPC Nair, the founder chairman of the SEMS group of institutions. Mr. Shibu Baby John, the chief guest of today's function. Professor Pramod B. Thevannoor, Vice Chairman. Dr. Radha B. Thevannoor, Registrar and Group Director. Dr. Indu Nair, Group Director. Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, Group Director. Mr. Pradeep Nair, Deputy Director. Invited dignitaries, heads of schools, heads of departments, my faculty colleagues from all institutions of SEMS, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me welcome you all for this August occasion. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Mr. Shibu Baby John, who will be delivering the fourth Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor commemorative annual lecture. Even though Mr. Shibu Baby John requires no introduction to all of us here, I would like to give you a brief profile of him. Mr. Shibu Baby John is a seasoned politician, a businessman, and I don't know how many of you know that he is also a film producer. He is releasing a film on the 25th of this month featuring Mohanlal, Malay Kote Valiban. So let us all go and see his film. He was also a former Minister for Labour, the government of Kerala. Born in Kollam on the 27th of July, 1963, he is the son of the former minister and RSP leader, Mr. Baby John and Mrs. Annama John. He is a B.Tech in Mechanical Engineering from TKM College of Engineering, Kollam. After his studies, he ventured into export business. As I mentioned a short while ago, he is a film producer and an ardent lover of sports. During the year 2001, he contested the assembly elections and won from the Chavara constituency. In 2006 assembly elections, he lost to Mr. N.K. Premachandran. Known for his fighting spirit and ability to reach the people, he defeated Mr. N.K. Premachandran from Chavara constituency. Later, he was sworn in as the minister on 23rd of May 2011. Probably one of the highly qualified minister Kerala ever had. I must say to this august audience why Mr. Shibu John is here to deliver Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Memorial Lecture. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor was very well known to him and he was his friend. The lecture which he is going to deliver today on innovation and entrepreneurship is a fitting tribute to his departed friend and also a role model to all of us. Just now he was mentioned to me that Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor was selected to the Skill Development Center of the Kerala government because he was very impressed with Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor in one of his meetings. Now let me come to his personal profile. His engineering course was a bit romantic. He married Mrs. Annie Constantine, who is a civil engineer from TKM College of Engineering. So both of them would have met each other at the college, and they tied the nuptial knot, and they have 2 children, and they are living happily. I wish Mr. Shibu Baby John a very bright future in his political and personal life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I'm privileged to invite Shri Shibu Baby John, former Minister of Labour, Kerala State, to address the gathering and deliver the lecture on innovation and entrepreneurship. Sir, please.
Respected dignitaries on and off the dais, respected faculty, dear students. Let me start off by paying homage and respects to a great visionary who became a personal friend of mine, Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor. We all know fate acts cruelly at times, but in this particular case, the act of fate has not only affected his family, I would personally say it has affected the education sector of the state. I happened to meet him accidentally as soon as I became the labor minister, which the department is also in charge of skill development and employability. So I happened to meet him for some formal meeting. But I was so impressed with his vision, his clarity of thought. I sort of admired him from that moment, and we became pretty close. He did his post-graduation from Kerala University, then MBA from Oklahoma University in US, did his PhD, and what was mentioned earlier, was the first person to start a water institute in the country, a very unique concept. Many of us always keep on saying that the next third world war is going to be over water. That is what we always say, but I don't think anybody is taking any effective steps foreseeing the threat. Also, he was instrumental in developing the patented anti-fermentation process for Neera. I don't know how all of you are aware of Neera or not, because it's a drink from coconut, which is immensely popular in Sri Lanka, but the land of coconut trees, Kerala, unfortunately, we are still struggling. So that is the background, his background. And so I was so impressed with him. So that was the time Kerala government started focusing on skill development. So we started this Kerala Institute, Kerala Academy for Skills Excellence, CASE. It was called CASE. And he was made one of the founder directors of that. Apart from the government officials, he was only director from the private sector. And then we got to meet more often and interact. And those days, The skill development program of the government was much more focused. It was a team effort, but a lot of inputs came from Dr. Pradeep, I can tell you that. But unfortunately, his passion for driving, fate, you cannot prevent that, but unfortunately, he left us. So once again, I pay my respects to Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor. And this institute, started by his great father, and with his foresight, he has made SCMS one of the top brands, one among the top brands in the country. You should understand the significance. Kerala always boasted about its educational standards, high levels, and Keralites reached all parts of the globe thanks to our education. Our primary education, starting with, was of higher standards. And at that time, that was enough for us to secure a job in any developed country. Unfortunately, a public worker like me is utterly disgusted at the present standards of education. I don't know how many people are aware. So I did my pre-degree. Those it was pre-degree and then engineering. I did my pre-degree in Maruvenis College. It is supposedly one of the best arts colleges, arts and science colleges in the state. Recently, I met with Cardinal Clemis Bava, who is the manager, and I was shocked to hear that last academic year, many seats were vacant in Maruvenis College. It's the same with SP College Changanaശ്ശേരി. It's the same with Fatima Mata College Kollam. So there is a mass exodus of students from here to other countries and to other states as well. Why I mention this is to see how fortunate, for you to realize how fortunate all of you are to still study in such an institution, which is amongst the very rare in Kerala, which is amongst the best in the country. And this, I think, is my third or fourth visit to the last 10, 12 years to this institute. And I can proudly say, what the management has been successful in these years is, it is by turning your concept as a job seeker, from turning that to a job creator. That has been the emphasis many a time. I can tell you one thing, not everybody can be job creators. That is a fact. But at least when the impetus is there, that focus is there, people who are talented enough can probably take that line. That should be the focus of education everywhere. I really don't know why I was invited, apart from my friendship with Pradeep and Pramod and the family. I really don't know why I was invited for this lecture, because the previous 3 lectures were by luminaries. And for me, I'm not a successful model, neither in politics nor in business. But I can probably explain to you about the failures, what made me fail in these sectors. That is also equally important, because it is most important for a young person coming into this, global competitive world. You should not take success into your head, and equally, you should be courageous enough to take failures in your life. Only then you will grow. Many a time, inability to cope with failures is the main reason for failure. Okay, so now, usually I never come with a prepared speech, but like what was mentioned earlier, I think for me personally, it is the most inappropriate time to do a lecture on any subject because, movie business, I'm new entrant into that. And it is the biggest gambling business, much bigger than a casino. And for that, I'm definitely under pressure in a different mental state. So I didn't want to sound ridiculous, so I've got a speech prepared briefly. So innovation and entrepreneurship, the possibilities and things like that is also there. You search the Google, you can find hundreds of examples of success models, which will inspire all of you. I don't know, but how many of you have read this book called Shoe Dog by Nike founder Phil Knight? I happened to read that about 6-7 years ago. I really think all of you should read that who want to pursue a career in innovation, in entrepreneurship, should definitely read that. That is about Phil Knight. He was a baseball player in high school. Then he was not a success there. His mother suggested, you better move to track and field where you have a better chance. So he moved to track and field. And surprisingly, he realized that he can run very fast. So he went on like that. That was the time this idea of running shoes caught him. So 10 years after he shifted to track and field, track events, he borrowed $50 from his father to import shoes, running shoes from Japan. It's very interestingly narrated in the book. I don't remember all the details, but he goes to Japan, and it was not the Japan that we see now. It was not as efficient then and all that. Then he comes back with the shoes. He carries the shoes in the boot of his car and along with friends go around and start selling it. Now it is what? The largest sports shoe selling company in the world with a turnover of 4 billion or something like that. So I definitely feel that everybody should read that. And let me come to the obstacles that generally we face here. One major obstacle is the rapid advancement of technology, which paradoxically can hinder innovation. As automation and artificial intelligence become more prevalent, traditional job markets will shrink, posing a threat to entrepreneurial spirit. Moreover, the increasing complexity of regulatory framework poses a challenge to startups and innovators. Navigating through intricate legal landscapes can be daunting and expensive, stifling the growth of new ventures. Striking a balance between necessary regulations and fostering a conducive environment for innovation becomes crucial. Global issues such as climate change, resource depletion also present formidable challenges. Entrepreneurs will need to focus on sustainable practices, which might require significant initial investments. Overcoming the financial barrier to implementing eco-friendly solutions is a hurdle that many startups may face in the pursuit of innovation. Access to funding remains a perennial challenge for entrepreneurs. Despite the availability of various funding sources, securing capital for innovative projects, especially those with long-term goals, is often a struggle. Encouraging investment in risky yet potentially groundbreaking ideas is essential for fostering a culture of innovation. Additionally, cultural factors can also impact the willingness to take risks and embrace change. Societal resistance to unconventional ideas may stifle innovation. Addressing this challenge requires a shift in the mindset, promoting a culture that values experimentation and learning that failure. Blah, 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 it goes on. I agree. I'm not so going to go in that. So basically, what makes you successful? What are the factors that make you successful? You should take the example of the country Japan, which was totally destroyed after Second World War. Of course, America lent a helping hand after that, United States, but then they came back, conquered the world. They were the biggest economic force in the world. It is not that something which happened accidentally. The factors behind that was their hard work, discipline, and the sort of thirst for growth. See, as part of my seafood business, I used to visit Japan right from 1986, many a time. So I used to deal with big names, Mitsubishi, or all giants like that. They used to come to India, visit us. We used to take them for lunch, dinner, treat them happily. But when I went there, I realized, for example, Mitsubishi has got a huge building there. And in one floor, probably, not even one floor, in one floor, one section, they have a food division. And in the food division, they have each desk for different food products. And then comes to a division for seafood. And then it comes to one person in one chair who handles Indian seafood. So the person whom I was meeting all along, interacting with him, I always thought he was the biggest guy in Mitsubishi. But he was the lowest level employee in Mitsubishi. But his commitment, the way he worked those days, we mistook him for being the owner of Mitsubishi or part of that group. We were not accustomed to that kind of multi-corporate system then. So what I was coming to, so this man takes me out for dinner. Usually Japanese have an early dinner, 6:30, 7. Then they take us out to some bar to have a drink, to have a beer or drink. They drop us back in our hotel probably by 10, 11 o'clock or even later. So, and by the time they go, they said next day morning, 8:30 is a meeting. Then I realized this particular person then has to get a bullet train and travel at least 2 hours by bullet train to reach his house. So after this late night, by 12, by midnight he drops us. By the time I wake up, it'll be probably 8:30. But if he says 8:30 he's back, appointment is 8:30, he will be at your door at 8:25. After commuting 2 hours one way, 2 hours back. That kind of not only punctuality, hard work, discipline brought that country to a different level. Then, in being a successful entrepreneur, the most important factor is your conviction of your idea and your ability to communicate that. When I say communication, for heaven's sake, don't misunderstand that you have to have pakka English, grammatically correct English. I would never say that. Communication is a totally different skill. One person whom whole world respects is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, late Dr. APJ Abdul. He didn't have that Oxford English or nothing like that. He was a communicator. He had dreams. When I mention communication, one thing you should keep in mind, which is always used to speak for many years, is these days I don't know how many of them come, but till about 10, 15 years ago, these Kashmiris used to come to different parts of the country, especially Kerala and all that. To do what? To sell their carpets. They can't speak a word in English. They can't speak a word in Malayalam. But then they used to come to Kerala, sell all their carpets, and then only go back. This is communication. So, for heaven's sake, forget this Oxford grammatically correct English. And for communication, the most essential factor is subject knowledge, depth of your subject knowledge. That is why I said, see, in my present mental state, I was not sure whether I'll be able to speak to you. I didn't want to make a fool of myself. That is why I came with this backup, something like that, because I wanted to make sure when I come here, like I said a couple of times, I don't want to be a fool in front of you. So that definitely is subject, depth of subject, and the confidence, and even communication when I tell you. See, I studied in Loyola School, Trivandrum. Those days, it was one of the best schools. And when my final and my 10th standard, 10 of us were forced to continuously stand during school assembly for about 3 months because we used to speak in Malayalam in school. That is a kind of strict discipline they had. But subsequently, I came to Marwanis College. For 2 years, I didn't have to speak a word in English. And subsequently, I came to engineering college where all subjects were in English, but we didn't speak English at all. Then I entered into seafood business when I had to deal with Japanese and Spanish and Italians and all kinds of people who had very little knowledge of English. So it was basically, I used to break my English for them to understand. So there's no grammar, nothing like that. But then suddenly, after a long time, asking me to speak in English for me, it's very, very difficult. Because you lose touch with the language. Only if you keep on practicing it, you can be fluent in that. But so, honestly, I am trying after giving a speech in English after such a long time. I don't have making political speeches. Naturally, it comes in Malayalam. So, I was confused initially, but somehow I suppose I'm managing. Anyway, coming back to this thing. So, the courage, the confidence to communicate what you have in mind is a very, very essential factor. See, honesty and trust, we always say that. To the honesty part, I'll come later. The trust factor is very, very important. Not only you have to be honest, you have to appear honest. You should not vacillate. Let me give you a personal example what I had. So when I was first an MLA, I was new entrant into politics. So then there was this Rajya Sabha election going on. And I was part of the UDF, the ruling front. There was a rebel candidate from within the front. So, and my party leader told me to vote for the rebel, which I couldn't digest. Okay, see, now probably if I become a seasoned politician, I'll be able to probably, I don't know. But then I was new into politics and betraying the faith that the political system had bestowed on me, for me was unthinkable. So another very senior leader also called me and said, you vote for the rebel. I was confused. On the other side, the chief minister and others, everybody was calling me and asking me to stick on to the official candidate. I was totally confused. I tried to placate both the leaders. Whenever I go to the tall leader who called me, I said, don't worry, I'll vote for you. Finally, the other sector, I said, never, I will never vote against you. Finally, what happened? I asked my conscience and they told me, you vote for the person for the system who made you an MLA. So vote for the official candidate. I did that. I voted for the official candidate, came out. It was a secret ballot. But then I realized the official group had discarded me. Official group was under the conclusion that he is not going to vote for us. And the other group, when the number of votes came, it fell short of their expectation. So they also suspected me. They also said, okay, he has betrayed us. And I ended up losing confidence of both the groups. That endangered my political career to a large extent. As was mentioned here, 2001 I won comfortably. I was considered decent MLA. But 2006 I lost by 1,000 odd votes. Just because of this one mistake of trying to keep both people happy. If I had stood courageously and said, this fate wouldn't have befallen me. So that, I suppose, you understand the importance of not only being honest, but firm in your decisions. You should never vacillate. Then generally, I think I've mentioned about all these important factors. And let me give you an example. See, in my case, like I told you, I'm not a role model because I'm not a success model. But let me tell you what happened. We were the first, our family, me and my brother were the first to start aquaculture, intensive aquaculture in India. Late 80s, we started. We got selected as the best aquaculturist in the country, won President's Gold Medal 3 years continuously. And we laid all the eggs in one basket because aquaculture was booming. It was just starting and it was a huge profitable business. You put in a certain amount of money in 4 months' time. By the time the shrimp goes to a particular size, you get double that money. There's no other business like it. So what happened is we bought about 2,000 acres of land all across Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. And totally unexpected, there was this disease problem for shrimps. Usually we have heard about diseases happening in aquaculture areas, but that is after the land gets contaminated. After 7 years, Thailand used to get diseases. The problem with the disease is once it's affected by a disease, then it's zero value. So once you put in a certain amount of money, it either doubles or becomes zero. That is the kind of business it turned out to be, totally unexpected. So what I was coming to was, then after that, where did I go wrong? We had this traditional family business right from 1963, exporting seafood. But then we put, expecting a huge profit, we put all our money into this particular business, expecting it to grow and grow and grow endlessly. And all this 2,000 acres became useless. The moment this disease started hitting Andhra and Tamil Nadu, it all became useless. And that affected, and wherever we could borrow after the first failure, we started borrowing. Because again, the lure of money, you put in, you double it. That gambling came in. It went on. 93, we were one of the first companies from Kerala which went public. Our shares then were 10 rupees shares, was going at 60 rupees then. All of it tumbled in one particular day. I used to have this fancy for new cars. All the new cars used to be in my garage or portico, in front of my house. And within a matter of few weeks, one by one, it started disappearing. I was left with a Maruti 800. And me, that was the time I entered into politics. Okay, leave the political part. Everything came to a standstill. So there, again, the message is, expecting huge profits, windfall. don't put all the eggs in one basket. If we had gone slowly, steadily, nothing would have happened. Then after the fall, that is also one thing which you should understand. After the fall, what happens? You become avaricious. You want to make back everything in one stroke. Really? Whatever you lost, you want to make it back immediately. You lose your rational thinking. So after a lot of struggle, then I was thinking about new ideas. I came into politics. But that with my limited sort of investigation, I found, okay, the communication skill or soft skill training is necessary for Kerala youth. I still believe that. So then I started, got the best people around. And at the moment I had some money to invest, I started one in Trivandrum. And then somebody advised me with one thing, and my mind is also saying, with one, what can I make up? Nothing. So I decided, instead of waiting to find out whether this Trivandrum unit is success or not, I started one in Cochin, one in Calicut. Again, the same mistake. Within a year, whatever money I had in mind, that is also gone. So the second part, you should be ambitious. You should never be avaricious. That is the most important. You should learn to take it step by step. Now I'm 60 plus now. So now at this age, when I look back, what all have been my failures? Now I want to sing, but I'm not able to sing very well. Then I started recollecting. My mother, when I was in my 4th standard, she used to sing very well. She's 91, she still sings. She took me to a music teacher. And music teacher started with sa, re, ga, ma, pa, all that. I didn't have the patience to learn that. I wanted to sing like Yesudas right from that day one. So 3-4 days I spent time with him. Then I quit. I didn't go. Now I really regret, I don't know swimming. The moment you go abroad, swimming is a part of life. Even in India, if you go different places, you can see that. So then I recollect, I was taken to Trivandrum swimming pool when I was probably 10, 12 years. I was not, I didn't have the patience to put in the hard work. The coach took me to the other end of the pool where it's got maximum depth. For shaking off my fear, he dipped me into that level. But I got scared, I never went back again. But today I'm regretting I didn't go back. So in this, I was introduced as a sports lover. So what happened is, I was a cricket player and a badminton player in school. And Layala school had the best players then, in school level. Badminton, I never got any training. Cricket, I don't know, you youngsters wouldn't know. Those days, there was a test player called Abbas Ali Beg. His cousin M.R. Beg came to Layala school for training in cricket. And that guy was trying to teach us what forward defense is, what backward defense is, and all that. And all I wanted to do was hit a 6 every ball. So once or twice he advised me, no. The third time I did it, he said, you are not fit for this training, you can leave. So that again I am regretting now. What is the point? Squandered opportunities. So there is no easy way out. You have to go through the groove. You have to do hard work. Then only you will be successful in life. Instead of lamenting later in your life that, this and this didn't happen, you have to work hard, successful. Let me give you just honesty, just one more example and then leave. See, I have a very close friend of mine. I won't divulge his name, but he is from Kollam. He grew up in very adverse family conditions. His father was sort of a regional landlord. Those days, not very rich, but he had enough agriculture land and all that. So this guy, this friend of mine, he had a sister. After they were born, father just left his wife and these children and married another woman. They were given a few cents of land somewhere where they lived in a small house. He could see his father living in all grandeur and all that. So he told me he became determined then itself to make it big. So what happened? Those days, he's my age. He used to do, every morning he used to go in cycle, carry newspapers to each house, give newspapers, then come back, go to school. But he was not very successful in school and all that. He just couldn't manage. Then finally he left for Bombay to work as a mechanic in some workshop. So he started working there. And then he got an opportunity to go to reach Gulf, Dubai, as a mechanic in a hotel. So he went there, borrowed money, went there, started working very honestly. The owner, again a Keralite, never really used to concentrate on the business and all that. So this guy, this youngster realized that the entire team there, including managers, front office, everybody is siphoning out money. But he was not bold enough to go and tell the owner, fearing repercussions. He kept it to himself. But the owner realized it then itself and made a thorough inquiry into all sorts of things and realized that this guy is the only person who was not involved in the racket. So he dismissed everybody, gave him a promotion in the sense, can you do a better job? So he was so keen to prove himself. So he voluntarily took it up. I really don't know the designation he was given initially. So then he started managing things. Then unfortunately what happened is the owner died. And his wife didn't know a thing about this business. Basically it was hotel business with restaurants and bars and all that. So wife, the only person that wife could depend upon was this particular friend of mine, and asked him, can you manage the whole thing? He voluntarily took it up. He was honest. That business grew. Then he grew business-wise. And those days, I first met him in 2005, 2006. He used to tell me he never used to touch a drop of liquor until then. He wanted to prove himself in front of his father. He was that determined, went up. So what happened is, his business grew. And those days, basically, it was dance bars. That was time Dubai and sort of opened up for all this dance bars and all that. And one time when I met him, those days when I met him, he had about 65 dance bars in Dubai. The kind of money he made, and he invested in Kerala and all that. So what I'm saying is that honesty, how it repaid for him, is one model which I always keep in mind. But then coming to the next part, what I had mentioned initially about adapting to newer concepts and all that. Then he became a successful model. He came back very rich in Kerala, all that. He failed to change according to times. 65 dance bars, even at 10,000 dirhams a day, how much is he getting? You're getting 65 into 10,000, 650,000 a day. That is the kind of money he used to get. But then other bars were coming up, which was much better aesthetically and otherwise. They were catering to new demands. he failed to do that. So what has happened is, cutting it short, again, like the mistake I did, assuming that this will keep on coming, he started a 100 crore project in Abu Dhabi. 100 crore project. By the time his determination, which brought him to this level, had gone, he was sort of enjoying life, moving around with all of us, enjoying life. And so there were legal complications. All 100 crores went down the drain. And then this particular business, his core business, because he didn't improvise, because he didn't adapt to the changes required, that also, it all vanished. Poor man, he's got enough wealth to live a decent living, but he is back in Kerala now, can't even go to Dubai again. I think I don't have to explain in detail, because success, you're talking about success, but failure, I wanted to emphasize on failures, how we all end up failing. There was this big group called NMC Group, Dr. B.R. Shetty. I don't know how many of you are aware of that. He was one of the biggest tycoons. I always kept thinking, how can he, run away? How can he lose money? Because that is a kind of infrastructure they had. But then, assuming, now I get 1,000 crores. If I put this, I will get 2,000 crores. Not that you're not investing your reserve into future business. You are borrowing, expecting unlimited income. That causes all the trouble. So, again, I really think it's more than half an hour now. So, I hope there's something from what I said which you can take to heart, which will inspire you, which you can take forward in your life. In that case, this lecture about Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor and on this subject will be meaningful. That will probably make me also at least happy that I've done, in spite of all my failures, I've sort of explained to you my failure, and that it helped one of you grow to be a success. Let that happen. Thank you all. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Indu Nair, Group Director, SCMS Group of Institutions, to deliver the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Respected Shri Shibu Baby John, former Minister for Labour, Government of Kerala, Dr. GPC Nair, Chairman SCMS Group, Professor Pramod P. Thevannoor, Vice Chairman SCMS Group, Dr. Radha Thevannoor, Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, Group Directors of SCMS, Dr. G. Shashikumar, Principal, SCMS School of Technology and Management, respected heads of institutions of SCMS Group, distinguished invitees and guests, students, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion of the 4th Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture of SCMS Group a resounding success. I, on behalf of SCMS Group and the entire fraternity of the institution, would like to express our deepest appreciation to Shri Shibu Baby John for accepting our invitation and making it convenient to deliver an exceptional and enlightening address today on innovation and entrepreneurship. Your insights and expertise truly captivated our audience, providing invaluable perspective on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of business and fostering a culture of innovation. So we are sure that your ability to blend real-world experiences with the practical advice resonated profoundly with our attendees, leaving an enduring impact on everyone present at this edition of Dr. Pradeep Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture. As a token of our appreciation and gratitude, we wish to offer a memento to you, sir. I would like to call Mr. Pratik Nair, Deputy Director, SEMS Group, to do the honors. We wish to mention a sentence about the memento presented here. It has been crafted by differently abled person from Urja, a social enterprise in Cochin, which offers joint mentorship program, partnering with corporates to develop skills in the differently abled person and enable them to become independent. Thank you, Pratik. I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to all the heads of institution and their team of faculty members and students who are gathered here. We thank all the invited guests and members of the staff who is arranging this whole event with us this morning. We wish to thank all who are directly and indirectly involved in the program and making it a success. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. I request everyone to rise for the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे